So, when it comes to a Roomkey PMS database, we help you manage the Roomkey PMS database itself. We do also consider things outside of the database, things like security that could be helping you secure your access and login information, which we'll be looking at in a little more detail in our presentation today. In addition to just Roomkey software itself, we also have integrations that are associated and managed by our Roomkey PMS team. This could include our payment processor integration, Roomkey PMS payments powered by FullSteam. Could also include Roomkey PMS eRes booking engine, a booking engine that can be used to direct business from your hotel website directly into Roomkey, allowing those online guests to make bookings directly from your hotel website. And if you are a property with owned units and working with an owner's statements and invoicing, we do have a Roomkey PMS owner's accounting or HOA component that can be used in conjunction with Roomkey. Our support team supports all of these components, and we will be taking a look at a couple of those in a little more detail a little bit later in today's presentation. Now, outside of Roomkey and our realm of support here, we also integrate with a variety of third-party vendors. Now, these could be vendors that could include GDS connections, they could be direct connects with Booking.com or Expedia, or they could be channel managers like SiteMinder. It could be revenue management tools or CRM tools, reputation management tools like Ideas, Revenate, anything like that. It could be accounting exports where we export data from Roomkey into your accounting software like M3. We can also integrate with point of sale or POS software from an associated restaurant or spa services that you have at your property. We can also integrate with hardware components like a key card maker that allows the front desk agent to make key cards directly from the front desk or guests at the hotel. And we can also integrate with some other types of hardware devices like a PBX controller, a call accounting and voicemail services. All of these vendors are managed outside of Roomkey, so you do need to have an existing account and login information. In some cases, like GDS or channel managers, they have portal access via the web typically. So these vendors are managed outside of the realm of Roomkey, but we do integrate with them. When you are working with taking over any ownership or transferring ownership from one owner to a new owner with Roomkey, you do also need to consider transferring the ownership of these third-party vendor accounts and services. So in order to help you along with this type of consideration, I do have a bit of an example checklist here. So, for example, if you are doing a full transfer of a database, or if you're brand new to taking over an existing database, here is an example checklist of some of the things that you might want to consider making sure you have access to. Certainly, you want to make sure that you have access to Roomkey PMS. You need a download password, a user login, and password. You'll also want to make sure you have access to your credit card interface, knowing your merchant ID information, and in some cases, your portal login and password. If you're using any GDS connections, that could be including direct connects with Expedia, Booking.com. It could also mean a channel manager like SiteMinder or any form of GDS connected portals. You need to have access to the portal. So that would be the web access to the portal or the login site. And you need to have your login and password. Likewise, if you're using any of those revenue managers or CRMs, you do need to have portal access and your login name and password for those tools on the web. And when it comes to some of our other third-party vendors, things like a point of sale or POS connection, typically there's not a login, or you may not need to have direct access to the login for those. But what you will want to be mindful of when it comes to the connection with Roomkey is any POS postings or the transaction codes that are used to communicate between the POS and Roomkey. For example, a guest has a meal at the restaurant and the restaurant charges it to the guest account for their in-house account, you want to make sure you know what the posting or the transaction code that is used. Typically, it's just a restaurant charge that appears on the guest final bill in Roomkey. When you have a PBX connection, we want to make sure that you are up to date with the housekeeping status codes. These codes are what the housekeeping team will use to update housekeeping statuses directly in Roomkey via that PBX connection. When it comes to call accounting, similar to the POS, you need to know what the posting or transaction code is. So when a guest used the telephone from their room, whether it's a local call or an international call, you need to know or be mindful of what that transaction code is in Roomkey, so how it appears on their guest final bill in their account in Roomkey. Lastly, if we're working with any accounting exports or accounting services there, it is important to know what your GL account IDs are. Now, not every accounting software requires GL account IDs, so we will be kind of taking a look at that a little bit later in today's presentation as well.